Mr. D?
Here.
Ms. Casper?
Here.
Ms. French?
Here.
Mr. Horton?
Here.
Ms. Schaefer?
Here. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Seconded.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Adam, please call the roll.
Mr. Horton?
Yes.
Mr. D?
Yes.
Ms. Casper?
Yes.
Ms. French?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer?
Yes. All right. Mr. Zink, will you please lead us in the pledge? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to roll myself right off the stage one of these days. I promise you I am. All right. I cannot believe that we already have over a week under our belt as we start the school year. So thank you to everyone who's invested so much, and we certainly appreciate the leadership of our team up here, and thank you for all you've done to make this a very smooth start. We always have some hiccups, but everything's been handled so well, and we appreciate that. So looking forward to a great school year. And with that, I'll pass it to superintendent's comments. Dr. Whiteley?
I just want to reiterate the start of school. It was a wonderful first week, and I think the bookend of that week, having two sports activities both at East and at West, it was just a nice way to have some celebration at the end of the week. But so far, everything is running smoothly, and we hope to continue that into the second week. I did want to give you an update on enrollments, just as I did last time. So August 23rd of last year, we had 17,658 students. On August 23rd of 2024, we had 17,518 students. That's a difference of 140 students. So we're, again, just shy less of 140 students. Since August 1st, we have had 507 enrollments, and since August 15th, the first day of our staggered start, we've had 147 enrollments. However, we are seeing the number of enrollment appointments starting to slow down a little bit. The rush has kind of ended per se. We have 15 for this week that we're in. So again, enrollment is slowing, and we're actually starting to see some withdrawals. Outpace enrollments. That is not uncommon now that other schools are in session and things of that nature. We're starting to see records requests for different places or maybe homeschooling, things of that nature. So again, just down a little bit of 140 students, but we will keep you apprised as that number continues to shift. As far as class size, again, except for that one section of half-day kindergarten, currently all of our K-6 class sizes are within the desired range of our administrative guideline 5113, and even in that one section of half-day kindergarten, we added another adult support into that room to make sure that there was a good ratio of teacher and student and adult. So even though it's a little bit out of our range, we went ahead and added support to make sure that that's as seamless as possible. Anything else? I do have specifics if we would like them, or I can share them with you in my weekly update as well about individual buildings data and how that swings. I'll just give you an example. I'll give you kind of the higher swings, but like West Main is up 159 students. That's our highest number that we see. One of our lowest numbers that we see is at Heritage, down kind of 31 students. So kind of everything in between that, but those are our two bigger outliers. And then last but not least, I did want to speak to you about master facilities, because I know that that has been something, particularly as a board, that's been on the radar. So starting next month, as we talked about in our board retreat, we will start to have master facilities updates at one board meeting a month. Mr. Passarge will be giving enrollment updates. We definitely already have one enrollment study done. There's another one in process. We are hoping that those are going to coordinate and be finalized so that we can give you a nice comparison at the same time. But one of those is already done, and looking to provide you with both of those next month. Also, as we talked about in the board retreat, we will be establishing a master facilities kind of working committee of sorts, so that we can just kind of keep things moving and keep the pulse really steady, making sure that we're bringing those updates back to you. And as we comprise that particular committee, we will talk about if we want 2 board members on there and what type of representation, so we'll be working through that. And also looking to bring you a timeline after meeting with Mr. Passarge and the working committee, having a timeline of sorts to just kind of see what could be the timeline, and making sure that as we work backwards of that to now, how aggressive that is and what that plan might look like. So hoping to have that to you in the coming weeks for the board meetings next month.
Fabulous. All right, anything else? Any questions for Dr. Whiteley? Hearing none, Mr. Zink?
We have been working very hard on the first pay of September. That's the big pay for all of the staff. Not all the staff, but about 85% of the staff get their first contract pay on that pay. And with the retros and stuff from the updated negotiated agreements, we are able to get the first retro in for the first pay of September for all of the contract pay. And I'm working on the timesheet stuff. So we're hoping that we can get that in. We promised them that we would have that for the first pay in October. And so we're going to try to get in front of that and see if we can get it done a little quicker. So we've been busy doing that and ready for a little bit of a break once we get past that first pay of September.
Fabulous. And you've been busy with pay school as well?
We have definitely been busy with pay schools. We've put some FAQs out. We've been trying to support people as they've come in with different questions. Actually had a couple new questions come in today that was unusual, but still wading through that and think we're getting a pretty good handle on things. We did hear where an ACH maybe had a charge today, which ACH is not supposed to have a charge. The district, we are picking that up for the ACH. Pay Schools still does have a charge. It's just we're picking that one up. So we're looking more into that. I've requested an email on that so that we can have more direct information to look at with the company. So
great. All right. Anything else?
That'll be all.
Any questions for Mr. Zink at this time? Hearing none, we'll move to Butler Tech report. I have some invitations, so I'm passing these sideways because there's two different invitations, so if everyone could take one of each. We have the groundbreaking ceremony for the aviation education hangar in Middletown on October 17th at 9 to 10:30 that everyone is invited to, as well as the Bioscience Center expansion groundbreaking on October 2nd at 9 to 10:30. With the bioscience expansion, we had at our meeting the architects come and speak to the board about what that looks like. We're going from approximately 39,000 square feet at the bioscience building to it'll be 70,000. We're adding 32,000. So that's a very large expansion, and that will allow us with the partnership with Miami and all the things we've talked about, where they're going to be able to expand their programming and the more continuous spectrum for people who want to become an RN. Another piece is that the newsletters that I historically have handed to you here are now going to be online. Everyone should have received that email. So if you did not receive that email, let me know. They said they were sending it to boards and superintendents, and I requested that they include our treasurer as well in that. So if you do not get it, tell me, and I will make sure you get added to that list. From an internship perspective, well, I guess I'll back up a minute. We have a business advisory meeting that will be on Wednesday. I know I invited the members of our business advisory committee to attend that, to see how that works at Butler Tech. They're expecting over 250 different people to attend. They always have students in addition to our business partners. They're looking to expand their opportunities and open their internships not only to Butler Tech students, but all member school districts. And they're going to have that available online. Part of what they're hoping to do at this business advisory is to sit members of the different schools with specific people who might have industry within their confines and might be good people to have internships with. So we appreciate that partnership and that they're looking to continually expand that. And I think that's it for tonight. So.
How did they expand, like bioscience? Is it going out?
It's
back,
going down
up?
the hill. So if you were looking at the building from 75, it will be expanding to the left.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so it'll be going down the hill. And they said they're pretty much using, there's going to be about 20 acres that isn't utilized at this point. Like they're using pretty much all the buildable area. They're even having to move the retention pond a bit in order to be able to accommodate what they're looking to do.
Wow.
So, yeah, and they're also, one of the things when the building first opened that it didn't have, like it has more of a vending service than food service. And one of the things with the expansion in that existing space, because of the additional students,
they're hoping to put in like real food service as well. So, yeah.
I think it's a good thing that they stop printing out those handouts, because I don't know how many people read all of that. If you're interested, you flip through. I flip through to see what I'm interested in, and that's the only thing I read.
Yeah.
So if you go, I have a pile and pile of them. I'm like, why are they printing these things? So at least saves
Yeah.
money and tree.
Yeah, so you'll still get them.
Okay.
I know you want to archive them so you can research back
Yeah.
all the time. All right, any other questions for Butler Tech? Hearing none, we'll move to community engagement.
We have not had a meeting, but we just wanted to take this opportunity to remind everyone about September the 25th, community conversation on the cell phone policy will be at 6:30 to 8 at Lakota West Freshman.
Which is a different place than normal.
The
so,
normal, yeah. It's usually a plane, so it's just a reminder.
All right, and then we have Finance Committee. Isaac, do you want to start the update?
Yes, Finance Committee, we met, that was on Wednesday, okay. We looked through our goals for 2025, the highlights and the areas that we'll be focusing more, the areas that are a little bit different from the previous years. In-depth look at everything to ensure that we are on track. And we also look into the student fee survey, which Adam gave us some update on that, and what we can do as a district to help alleviate this situation coming from charges that is being created based on the payments of students paying all the things that they're supposed to pay. A little bit on healthcare. Those are the highlights that I think.
Yeah, and just again, Adam has said this before, but to reiterate, a lot of people are asking why we made this change, because change is hard, and why are you doing that? And Easy Pay was purchased by the parent company that we're switching to, and they have owned them for about 5 years, but they're sunsetting the old.
Since 2018.
Yeah.
I went back and tracked the emails because they tried to get us to switch over initially at the purchase. And we had held off since 18, and now one of the problems we've actually ran into now because of that is if somebody's already signed up for an Easy Pay account, you have to have a new email address. So if somebody was at a different school that had already went to Easy Pay, or to Pay Schools rather, or if you had a Butler Tech, now since we're one of the late implementers of this, now people are kind of getting these headaches with they had to create a new email to establish that account with us. We did have a good thing with, I called the Lakota and Sandusky County. We had them, because it took them doing this, we had them add Sandusky County to the end of their name, because theirs was Lakota SD, where we were Lakota Local Butler County.
Wow.
And so by them putting Sandusky on, that helped make it a little more obvious, because we did have some people running into issues with that as well.
And if you use your parent email through one login, that's helpful, because
Yes.
then that avoids some of that conflict. Yeah. And then another piece, I think there's been several questions about why didn't we go to a different vendor, because, and we waited too long to transition, and that kind of pigeonholed us. But to your point that you've made before, that part of it is what can speak to the rest of our software. And that's why you find so many different schools using Pay Schools, because it speaks better to the state software
That's correct.
than what the general public can have, and that causes us to be a little bit
Yep.
pigeonholed as far as the fees that we have to pay and whatnot in order to have things be somewhat compatible.
Yeah, and the cost associated with any of these transactions to me is just unbelievable. I can't believe that the credit card transactions are 4.5% or higher with fixed amounts in there. And so we at least have an option that's free for the parents, but it almost feels like we're kind of in a monopoly on this thing.
Mm-hmm. And I know some parents have been concerned about the ACH. I know personally, I just set up a separate account just to do these ACH transfers and to to make it a free checking account, just so that I don't have to worry about it impacting anything else, and then that's a way to get it free, and you don't have to worry about your typical account.
Kind of like we do at the school.
Right.
I had a parent that had a concern on a single sign-in login that give you access. I don't understand what that means, but
One login.
yeah, one login. The person expressed, it's a community member that expressed their concern that just because you log in, you have access to everything might not be a good idea. I don't know if there has been any concern from anyone.
I believe the goal behind one login is because then everybody has such a hard time remembering all
the
of these
passwords.
passwords. And so by logging in with one password, then we have the ability to go to many different apps. And I know that when I first came to Lakota from the district I was at previously, I thought that was the most amazing thing ever. You know, just because you end up writing them down or you have something and then that's not secure either. So it does have, you know, obviously some people could see some negatives, but to have one-stop shop for a lot of these different programs has been very beneficial.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I think that gives me an idea on how to explain that back to the person.
I just have a question on, can you speak a little bit to, I know we've raised our athletic fees this year, and the last time we raised our athletic fees was
I don't know
Many,
when the
many-
last
It was
time it was
2012.
raised.
many,
I thought
many
it was
years ago.
2012, there was a
2014, before or after?
decrease that went from
550.
300 to 200
Oh,
or something.
I paid
or
550 back in the day.
550, yeah, it's been all over the place.
So can you a little bit explain that even though we had to raise the fees, this athletic fees a little bit, that doesn't even remotely cover the cost of what it cost the district for a child to participate in sports?
Yep, sure. We, when we worked through this, what we started doing was taking all of the expenses that would be extracurricular participation outside of the school day, and we pushed them into that 300 fund. By doing that we had a lot of staff or a lot of different supplies, materials, functions that were being picked up within the general fund. Well, to get that true look on what that would cost, we pushed all of that into the 300 fund. By doing that, and then we've also put a component in that's been for band instruments. We've put a component in for turf replacements, normal cycles for uniforms. I know right now a lot of the uniforms had been purchased through the boosters. We have that for both marching band as well as the athletic sports. And a normal cycle. Now, that doesn't mean every year.
Right.
That means at a normal school, how long would these take before you would need to replace? And so after building all of those components in, we then landed on, let's try to keep it around 25% to the parent, 75% picked up by the district. And because we were working around a $550 budget that we worked with by moving things out of that fund. So by putting everything back in, that actual fee is $1,225, with the parent picking up $300 of that at the high school, and it's slightly lower at the junior high, but picking up $225 of that as well. So this is viewed as a consumable fee, and parents just pay it if their kids use it while they're using it, and not indefinitely forever.
So what the parent pays is not what it costs the district? It
No,
costs
no,
us
no,
much,
no,
much
no.
more.
No, and we had even, in part of this work through of, you know, where this should be and what it should look like, we even spent a lot of time trying to figure out if we could offer a more robust transportation model within the athletics of transportation both ways. Just what would that look like so we could figure it. And what we finally established was it's not a budget number, it's we can't deliver the service.
Right.
And so, you know, as unfortunate as it is, we can't provide more with the current transportation that we have today and the drivers and all of that.
Right.
And I think the athletic departments have tried to help with that, with providing some vans, and the boosters have provided vans to try to help
Yeah,
some
yep.
of the teams.
So, yeah, there was a whole lot of time and effort that went into that to try to make it as fiscally responsible as we could on many different angles. So I know it's going to be upsetting to some people, and it's
Right.
an increase. And, you know, with student fees coming back this year as well, we actually did get one more year out of the student fees than we had initially planned and anticipated. We thought that was going to end in '23, and then fiscal '24, which was last year, would be the first year of fees back. And we worked that around and got another year to help out the families. But
Now that that money's gone, yeah.
Now that it's gone and with the inflation the way it is and everything, it's been a lot.
Yeah. Thanks.
Any other questions or anything for Adam? All right, we have the committee and community conversation meeting dates and times available online, so if anyone has any questions, those are easily available under 4D. And now we'll move to board action items, the second read of the board policies.
And we did also add into that one the community conversation. That was new for this meeting, so that would be on there for the people that want to see when those are scheduled for.
Great. All right, we have second read board policies. Do I have a motion to approve the second read of our board policies?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
So which one did you take?
I do have something to add on the insurance ones, the 1,000, 3,000, 4,000. The policy didn't speak to, it spoke to when people went on to the 100%. It didn't speak to when they come off of that. So that was an update that has been made, and you'll see in these, it's highlighted green.
Between the first read and second read, that change was
Yes.
added, yeah. The rest are all the same that
Mm-hmm.
from the last meeting.
All right. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, Adam, please call the roll.
Ms. Casper,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. D,
Yes.
Ms. French,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer.
Yes. We have treasurer's recommendations A through C, approval of minutes, approval of invoices, and approval of commercial paper reporting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
The commercial paper, that was a
Yes.
late add. Sorry about that. This is a compliance piece. I've already emailed that up to Ohio Department of Education, and I've uploaded it into the Auditor of State portal. It's just a informational piece to make sure that when we have commercial paper, that everybody can kind of see where that's distributed to.
Great. Did you have other questions, Isaac?
No, I was gonna ask him to highlight what.
Yeah, I put something in my update, my week update on that because of it being a late ad, but
Yes, but for those that, I mean, the interest of those that in this meeting might be listening to it, that's why I wanted to.
commercial paper is a good investment tool for us.
Yeah.
We do have regulations around what we can use, how much we can purchase at any given time, but it seems to get a bit higher interest rate than some of our other investment tools.
My first job out of college was tracking commercial paper and rolling it over every day. Treasurer's office.
So you get replaced by automation.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank God.
PTSD.
I learned a lot about Excel that year. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Adam, please call the roll.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Ms. French,
Yes.
Mr. D,
Yes.
Ms. Casper,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer.
Yes. We have superintendent's recommendations A through E. Do I have a motion to approve personnel items, field trips, transportation, routes, contracts? I just looked up the contract.
That's the parent square.
Donation.
Yeah, the parent square, and the donations.
So
So moved.
moved.
We'll give
Go ahead, Doug.
Doug.
So
and then
moved.
Second to,
Second.
all right, any discussion?
Just want to highlight
Good, yeah. I wanted
highlight
to
a couple
highlight,
things, yep.
yes. please.
One is just the field trip there. HOSA, if you're familiar, it's, it's just future opportunities for health professionals, very strong national organization. Butler Tech is actually really supporting that endeavor through that field trip to Washington DC to make sure that our student leaders are trained and really have all the resources available to them to establish those partnerships to really sure that they have future-ready health professionals. So that's the field trip. As far as transportation routes, I do know that we, prior to the start of school, we received feedback, particularly around the freshman consolidation routes. Been working really, really hard of those. Very appreciative of parents of putting all of that feedback into the survey that we sent out. And at this point, all freshman routing of consolidated routes are 0.5 or less distance from the bus stop. Additionally, we have no students crossing major thoroughfares outside of their subdivision, so there's nobody's crossing like Taylorsville Road or Kyle Station, anything like that. They might be crossing a street within their subdivision, but no major thoroughfares or any students working through. So just really, Peterman, Chris Passarge's team has really been working diligently to make sure to listen to those parent responses. They've added routes to certain bus routes to make sure that they're giving more numerous spots within the same subdivisions to help keep that distance down, but at this point, all are .5 or less, and that .5 is important because that is the state K through 8 rule, so we wanted to keep that same lens as we looked at freshman busing.
So, and I know you mentioned all of that is compliant with freshman busing, but it's also with K through 8 as
correct.
well, that those same
Those same
parameters
parameters
you
are in
just,
place.
that we're confident
Yep.
that all of these meet those parameters.
Not only have those been checked by our in-house team, but also through Peterman themselves, so they've had multiple eyes on those. And then as far as Parent Square, kind of speaking to Isaac's question about a one-stop shop, Parent Square is really an opportunity that unifies all of our communications in one spot, from a district level, a building level, school communications, community partnerships. And it is available through one logout access as well. As a parent, I have that app on my phone. It's wonderful. I get notifications when community flyers have been put up. And you can also distill down to what you want access to. So particular schools, the entire district, certain groups. So it's just a really good opportunity for us to engage with our families, and to make sure that we are pushing out as much communication and keeping things on the forefront to our families as possible and our students. And also, for this particular contract, I think it's of note that they are giving us the premium upgrade for this year for free on that contract that you see. So we're actually expanding its usage, and that's going to be free for this year, so that we have time to kind of pilot that this year, that full expanded opportunity, before we go into next year.
Another thing that I would add with that is we plan to utilize that within the Welcome Center as well with the text function. So when people put in, when they try to enroll kids and we have some outstanding forms and documents that we need, that's been one of the bottlenecks. We've had to get the kids in as quickly as possible. And so we believe we'll be able to utilize that functionality to get text messages to those parents that are needing documents sent back, so that we can keep streamlining that operation as well.
That's nice.
Any other questions, concerns? Hearing none, Adam, please call the roll.
Mr. Horton?
Yes.
Ms. Casper?
Yes.
Mr. D?
Yes.
Ms. French?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer?
Yes. All right, already at closing comments.
Wow.
Would you like to start, Isaac?
Yeah. Okay. I was actually obviously absent during the convocation, and I think you guys had fun. I read a lot on social media. A lot of people, the naysayers, the critics, and all kinds of. I'm like, no matter what you do, definitely somebody is going to say something. But the team was really, I think, very captivating, and thank you, Dr. Wiley, for that idea. And I think you guys had fun. I missed it, but I was with you guys in the spirit.
While you were on the beach.
I hope, yeah. I was having fun. I know a lot of people will say, where is Isaac? What happened, Yeah, the other concern that I have was when I read the concern on a parent regarding homework, after hearing the explanation, it makes sense. Maybe it's an issue of educating the person what his concern was. It seems like, from what he was saying, it seems like 6th grade don't usually get homework. I'm like, okay, how is it possible that somebody will not go home with homework? But the explanation I understand is depending on the teacher, right?
Isaac, I'm going to look into that fully.
Okay.
I think we were aware of one particular school who kind of made that shift on its own last year. It was not a district approach, but I'm going to check that this year, because the particular email that we received was not from that particular school. The parent had students in different schools.
Okay.
So I'm going to make sure, working with Ms. Manny, looking into that, but also our principals, to better understand what our practice is, not our policy, but what's our practice for
Yes.
homework, so that we can make sure to get back to that parent and make sure we have the data to answer that correctly.
Yes. So, and when I responded to that, I know I only sent it to you and Adam, and I copied Mrs. Schaefer. My intention was we need to look into it, because it was like a surprise to me that a kid would not have homework, So I apologize. The way I came out made me look like I was like, oh, take action right now. No, that wasn't my intention. Okay, that wasn't my intention. My intention is like we should look into it. That's all so far. Thank you.
Well, school's back in. This is fun. This is exciting. There's some convocation. The Future Hawks last night or Friday night. Everything is so exciting, and I really appreciate all the enthusiasm that I'm seeing from the staff at convocation to the parents that were at the football games on Friday night, and then within the schools, we've already had elementary curriculum nights. I've got Lakota East curriculum night this Wednesday, so we're off and running. And what I want to say is just appreciate all the work that has gone into all of this. Feels like we are hitting this year off on a really great start. Really excited about that. And what I will say is, again, I'm a broken record on this, but the part of the heartbeat of our schools is the volunteers, and there are still so many openings at PTSOs for warm bodies who can do anything. And I say that because it's really intimidating to come in and volunteer and, oh, what am I taking on, and I don't want to disappoint. Many hands make light work, and that is really what PTSOs really need, as well as booster organizations. All of Future Hawks that was put on Friday night was done through the boosters and parent volunteers. Same will be happening for West whenever that gets rescheduled for Future Firebirds. So for anybody who's watching this or listening, please reach out to your PTSOs, attend those curriculum nights, ask about the PTSO, and just get involved. For me, it's the best way that I've connected with people across the district, and some of our dearest friends have come from those relationships. So please help out any way you can. Thank you.
Thank you.
I echo everything that was just said. There's been an excitement in the air in the city and the township that is undeniable at the start of the school year. Kids are excited. The time that I have spent in the buildings, there's lots of excited children, fresh teachers who are excited to be there. Future Hawk Night, it's always one of my favorites because you see so many of our student talents on display, the band, the athletics, cheer, but then to see all of our future Hawks there too, sharing in that excitement, I think it really helps them build upon their future and get excited about school and feels like a community. So I really appreciated that. And offering the opportunity for Chick-fil-A for our staff and tents for them to come together and spend some time together before the game was really nice way to end the first full week of school, which I'm happy we're back in school too. I wanted to follow up on one thing, Dr. Whiteley, if you don't mind. You talked a little bit about student enrollment and class sizes, and the policies don't state specifically what those class size numbers are. Mm-hmm. Would you mind to send us an email and let us know? I believe the policy states something like the superintendent will determine what those class sizes should be. Would you mind to let us know and update us on what those are? And that's everything. Excited to be back in school.
Great, thank you. All right, Dr. Whiteley's busy writing, so do you want to, you good?
Yeah. I think I had a moment on Friday at, the Future Thunderhawk Night, and I was standing there on the football field, and I saw the profile out of the corner of my eye, and I thought, I know that young man. And I looked at him again, and sure enough, I taught him in AP English in Lakota East High School. Mm. And I went up and I said, are you? And he was like, I am. And he kind of looked at me, and I said, do you remember me? He was like, do you really remember me? Like, kind of like, I said, yeah, second row, second bell by my desk.
Wow.
And he goes, oh my gosh. And he goes, why are you here? And I said, well, I'm the new superintendent. And he said, no, really? Why are you here? And I said, really? And he goes, how did that happen? and I kind of had that moment myself of like, you've literally come full circle. And it was a very just endearing moment to see, he's now the father of a 7-month-old and newly married. And it's just really, really exciting to be able to return to your home and where you started as a teacher. And it just made me warm inside. And then I had to race off and get to Lakota West and change clothes and do that kind of thing. But it was just a very, very touching moment for me. Speaking of Lakota West, I do want to remind, because the email went out today and I just want to make sure nobody misses it, Future Hawks Night on Friday is going to be delayed. Firebirds. Sorry. It's going to be delayed because of the heat index. We just thought if the game is going to be pushed, so the game kickoff time is going to be 8 o'clock. That is because of the heat index. And if it's not safe enough for us to start the game, then we thought we needed to delay that activity as well for our younger students, because we want to make sure that they have a good time and they play hard, especially when it's hot. So that will be moved. And Ms. French asked her question about, is that the same night now as homecoming? It will be. So Lakota West homecoming, all of that night will be very, very excited. So that's when it's being postponed to, but I did want to let you know, you're all welcome at the game on that sticky, warm night, but it will be at 8 o'clock as kickoff time this Friday.
Thank you.
And I believe that game will be featured on Spectrum, so if you want to, I might have to watch that from the air conditioning. It was a little hot Friday night, but it was a good game.
But they do have Kona Ice. Miss Manny and I partook of Kona Ice, so it helped to chill you down.
But it's just crazy to think that the football season's already started, the school year's off the ground. We're getting ready to pay all of our new teachers and staff, and I'm just really happy with all the work that's been done in the treasurer's office this summer, all the work that's been done with our support staff and everybody that's prepped the year to make it go as smooth as it has went. So shout out to everybody that played a part in that, and wish everybody a good year.
Great.
Pretty much everything's been said, so yeah, it's the beauty. But again, just reiterate, convocation was so much fun, seeing the energy in the room and in the buildings. And I will say, even talking to people at future staff and parents at future Hawk Night and convocation, and how excited everybody is and how hopeful everybody is, they also know that everything's not going to be perfect, and there's going to be times that, we'll have to struggle with something, or they may not like a decision, but everybody is just very, very engaged in the fact that there's communication, and that we are talking to our staff, we are talking to our parents, and we are, asking for feedback on things. So I think that is something that makes like a huge difference to the community and to the staff, that people are engaged because you have been engaged with people. So we very much appreciate that. Again, Future Hawks Night was so fun. It was a little hot. I did talk to Scott Kaufman and Jill Mining at the ADs and said, what's up with the football schedule? Because all of the home games are the same this year. So yes, East and West are home and away all the time. So it does result in either picking and choosing. I picked Future Hawks Night with the intent of going to Firebirds on Friday, but we have done the 2-in-1 night type thing, changing in the car. So yeah, that's not fun that they're the same night. And as I like to
You
point
can
out,
just go
there
to
are
the
only
East
7
ones.
of us that really care about that.
Just go to East, that's fine.
There are only 7 people that really care that they're on the same night, everybody else. But again, super excited about the start of the year.
Yeah, contrary to Doug saying just go to East, my husband would say just go to West, because that's where our kids go.
Yeah, he
so.
gets mad when she goes to
He
East.
does get mad. He ditched me this time. He did come the first half, and he ditched halfway through to go to West. So again, just to reiterate what everyone said, another thing that I've heard that I love is that with all the new curriculum, it's certainly created challenges, and everyone is feeling very stretched. And like new teachers again, trying to figure out how to pace and make everything work. But with that, how much collaboration is happening. And that they're very positive about not only within their buildings, how much work is being done amongst the staff, but across the district, amongst buildings. And I'm so thankful for that work, and that we do have those curricular materials that I'm sure, again, I know is a challenge this first year to figure out how to integrate, but that we'll be able to continue to grow and build from, and have that support versus each person trying to recreate the wheel themselves. So very thankful for that investment that our community has made in making sure our staff have what they need to be successful. So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Adam, please call the roll.
Mr. D,
Yes.
Ms. French,
Yes.
Ms. Casper,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
All right.